G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by user SpiritedWillow3110, titled, Am I the asshole for not letting my sister walk down the aisle at my wedding? I, 29 female, am getting married to the love of my life, 30 male, in a few months. We were high school lovers and childhood friends. He is truly my best friend and everything that I want in life. However, we both decided to wait until we were well off to be married, so that we could have our once-in-a-lifetime magical moment. My sister Stacy, 21 female, got married at 19 to someone who I like, but I'm not super close with. They were together for 5 months before he proposed. Their wedding was rushed, and half our family couldn't even make it because of how soon it was planned and set up. It was small and just in a courtroom. No dress, party, etc., just a legal wedding. However, my wedding is around $19K, and we haven't even finished everything. It took us ages to set up everything and to save. Stacy recently came up to me while coming over. We were close and have dinner once a week at my place, and asked if she could walk down my aisle and meet her husband so she could feel like a bride. I laughed and asked if she was serious, and she was. She claims that she never got her magic moment, and just wants to feel special once. But it's my wedding and my special day. She had hers. Stacy claims that it will only be between us, and it won't take away from me, but then I asked what she might wear, and she showed me pictures on her phone of wedding dresses. Hard no from me. She then asked again yesterday in front of my fiancé, and I think it was an attempt to pressure me. He laughed and said no, thinking it was a joke, like I did the first time. My mother and Stacy's husband say I'm being an asshole because Stacy still isn't rich, so she can't afford another wedding even if she wanted one, but neither are me and my future husband. We just planned for years. I just wanted one day for myself, but maybe I'm blowing it up because she never got the bridal experience. I won't lie, OP, I thought it was a joke too. Even more of an extended joke with the fact that she brought out wedding dresses. How delusional is she? She's crazy! When has a wedding ever been acceptable where a guest wears a wedding dress and gets to walk down the aisle? How many pills is she taking? Why would you think that you're an asshole in this situation? What have you done to make yourself an asshole besides reject this stupid question? Anyway, in the comments, POT3 says, not the asshole. There is no conceivable universe where her walking down the aisle on your wedding day, at the location of your wedding, wearing a wedding dress, will be just between the two of you, and not detract from your day. It's rude of her to even ask. Edit to add, if she wants a special moment, she is free to plan her own vow renewal event where she wears a wedding dress and has all of her family, etc. OP replies, if she was just going to wear a nice dress and walk before me and stand beside me and her husband, I would probably have no problem with it, or at least let her do it, but I feel like she's just trying to use my wedding as a free event for her. That would be nice of you. But given how much work planning and orchestrating a wedding is, and how much money, it should really be about you. OP replies, that's what my fiancé keeps reminding me of, but I just feel guilty since I've always been able to afford more than my sister. Job at 16, saving money, etc. Meanwhile, she only worked after college, which was fully paid for by our parents, while I had to get by on scholarships. So I guess I just want to help her out since she really couldn't afford a big wedding. Stop right there. Your parents paid for her college and you had to figure out college yourself? Sorry, OP, your parents have a clear favorite and it's not you. Doesn't sound like you've had a lot be about you in your life, and your wedding is the one day that it should absolutely be all about you. Don't feel guilty. None of this is your responsibility. She is free to have her own separate wedding if she wants a redo. It should not be at your expense. OP replies, when I was in college, my parents weren't well off, but when my sister was, my grandmother had passed and left a large sum of money to my parents and sister. My grandpa's the only one who helped pay for my college when I desperately needed food or books. So your sister has always had more just given to her without working for it? You had to work for everything that you have, and now she's demanding what's yours too. Not the asshole. If you said yes, you'd just be making her more entitled, and she sounds plenty entitled. I can't believe her mother wants you to share your wedding, which you paid for, when your sister already got an education for free when you paid for yours. She's making it clear that she values her more. Your parents had a choice about how to distribute that money. Half could have gone to you and half to your sister, then you could both decide how to use that money yourselves. Instead, it all went to your sister. I think you're trying to avoid thinking too hard about this because it means that your parents favor your sister. OP replies, our mother definitely favors my sister, since she was born after a miscarriage and our father died recently of cancer, which is one reason that my sister had a quick wedding so he could be there. And I think that she's scared something might happen to my sister. Not the asshole. I see stuff like this on the sub and I'm shocked that people have the audacity to even ask stuff like this. It doesn't matter if she's your sister and her moment wasn't what she had hoped for. If you allow this, then your moment will be different than you imagined it to be too. Your sister and her husband made their choices. They could have waited, but they didn't. OP replies, I asked her when she accepted his proposal if she was sure that it was a good idea, since it seemed really rushed. But her response was that since my boyfriend proposed a few weeks earlier, she wanted to get hers over with it and tie the knot so that I would be able to have my wedding in the fall, like I always dreamed, and hers wouldn't overlap. Your sister wanted to get married before you, knowing you were having a long engagement. There was never going to be an overlap, and she knew it. She wanted to show off then, and now wants to make your day about her. She is also manipulating you to feel sorry, as she rushed and cannot afford the wedding that you are having. Do not give her an inch. She can be a guest, and you must approve her speech prior to giving it, or deny her speech if she continues throwing a fit. She is not your responsibility to fix her poor choices from the past. She is a grown adult now. And now, onto the update. Hello everyone. I just wanted to post an update on the situation with my sister Stacy. So the day after I made the post, me, my fiancée, Stacy, and her husband met up for brunch. I told her that she needed to hear me out fully before she spoke, and thankfully she did. In short, I told her as much as I love her, I've waited years for this day, and it was mine. She had hers, and if she truly wanted, she could have used the money that I gifted her to get her own wedding. Her husband cut me off and said they needed the money for rent, but she didn't let him talk. I showed her the Reddit post, and she started crying, and asked her husband and my fiancé to step out for a few minutes. They both did, and she told me that her husband and our mum had been the ones pressuring her, since she had admittedly been jealous, and told them both that she wished she could have had a large-scale wedding. She said she had been over the whole thing until her husband started saying that it wasn't fair because he was jealous he couldn't provide for her, and he eventually complained enough that she asked to walk down the aisle for him. Stacy said that she was willing to fully back out of the wedding and would understand given the heartache that she's given me. But I told her that her husband would be the one without an invite, which she gratefully agreed to. We talked more in depth on why she was jealous, and she said she regretted getting married so early just so that our father could be at her wedding. After a few more minutes and both of us crying and forgiving one another, I told her that she could always tell me anything, even if it was between her and her husband. When my fiancé and her husband came back in, I told Stacy's husband that he was uninvited right then and there, and he seemed to understand why immediately, though he did groan about it and called me multiple times, but I blocked him again. Over the past few days, our mother is called to apologize, and me and Stacy have been talking much more openly and honestly to one another. I decided to let her wear a dark silver or pale gold dress to match my theme and walk with me down the aisle, as my father sadly can't. She told me that I didn't need to, but I insisted. We ended up finding a dress that we both love, and I got it as a gift for her. Thank you for all the support and kind words. In the comments, Ivan Nimoy says, "This is such a touching update. I hope that all goes well for you, your soon-to-be husband, and your sister." OP replies, "Thank you. I hope so too. Sounds like you made the best of this situation. Having her walk you down the aisle was a great move, and I'm sorry for the loss of your father. OP says, thank you. I'll always miss him, but he won't ever be apart from me. Your brother-in-law is a piece of work. He feels jealous because he can't provide for her, but he's comfortable forcing others to provide, and not even necessities, but luxuries. What an entitled asshole. OP, stay close to your sister. She has already given you signs that she's not happy in her marriage and may need your support to get out of it. OP replies, yes, I'll be keeping him close enough to keep an eye on him, but not too close. He's not a horrible guy, he's just very bad with money and is hot-tempered. I hoped that with age he would mellow out, but I'm not sure. Bad with money and hot-tempered sounds pretty horrible. Stacy is still young and can still plan a wedding. Hers seemed more like a marriage officiation. Renew vows at 10 years, have the wedding that she would have wanted if she had the money. Start saving now? I have a feeling that Stacy won't make it to the 10-year mark. Well, then she can have a lovely second wedding with someone nicer than her future ex-husband. Honestly, that kind of seems to be the writing on the wall in this situation. The advice I would give to OP is to go low contact with this brother-in-law and potentially your mother for quite a while until you figure out what the hell is going on with those two. When I read that comment about the father dying and that being the reason for the early marriage, I was like, oof, that one hits me in the chest, god damn. I can completely understand why she had that wedding, and that's just an unfortunate circumstance in life. Cancer doesn't discriminate. Just another one of these rock in a hard place situations where it doesn't feel like there is a good answer. But still, that's no excuse for the mother and the brother-in-law's actions, regardless of the entitled attitude of the sister and how much she benefited from the death of a grandparent previous to that. Anyway, guys, I'd love to know what you think of this one down in the comments below. Let me know. Okay, trigger warning for the next story from everyone that's like, Marky, I'm eating at work right now. Why'd you read a gross story? There are mentions of feces in this story. If you don't like the mention of feces, run for the hills. Our next post is by user dogpoopthrowaway9, titled, My boyfriend of 4 years has been collecting and freezing our dog's poo. So my boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years. We have lived together for 2. A few months ago, we adopted a dog who was about 1 year old. He is very healthy and loving, well-trained, and is a perfect dog. My boyfriend has a so-called man cave in our house. It's untidy, so I don't really go in there. He has a fridge and a freezer there, which I assumed was for drinks and snacks. Today, I had some friends over, and we ran out of beer, so I went to his man cave to see if he had any in his freezer. It turns out he didn't, but he did have a whole F-load of my dog's poo in there. Frozen. It looks like he'd been collecting it for a month. There's like 60 bags of poo. What the hell? How do I confront him about this and ask what's going on? Why would he be freezing my dog's poo? My dog has nothing wrong with him, so there's no reason that his poo needs to be preserved. No one has told us to do this. What the hell? If you're one of those people that ate through this story, I tip my hat to you, and if you're gonna write an angry comment being like, oh my god, I didn't think it was that bad, maybe you're the asshole because you chose to stick around. Also, what the hell is going on with the dog poo in the freezer? Is this some elaborate Mr. Beast video going on? I tricked 1,000 people into eating dog poo! The last one to die from food poisoning gets $500,000! On to the comments. Evil Pickle Rick says, maybe he has someone that he wants to get back at. If you smash them and freeze them as a disc, you can slide them in someone's cracked window, so then when they come back, they've got a poo puddle in their car. Is this something you've done, mate? It has to be. That was too specific. Quote, how do I confront him about this and ask what's going on? Why the hell is your freezer full of our dog's poo? I'm not sure why you needed advice on how to ask this. And OP replies, he's been under a lot of stress recently, so I wanted to make sure there wasn't some obvious explanation before I go in asking him what the hell is happening. And he isn't home for a few hours, and I was curious as hell. But alas, there is no explanation other than a prank. I'll update when he's home and we talk. Frickin' weird. Update. So my boyfriend came home and I pretty much asked him what the hell he was doing with frozen poo. After an initial non-reaction, he put his head in his hands and started to laugh. He explained that his friend from uni is moving to town. His friend and him had an ongoing tradition of gross as hell pranks. They've been in touch recently, just catching up before the move, and his friend sent a box of bird crap to my boyfriend disguised as a box of chocolates. I didn't know about this. Anyway, my boyfriend wanted to get him back by sending him a welcome to town gift from my friend's new boss of steaks, which he would drop off at his house prior to him arriving. By the time his friend arrived, the steak box would have defrosted, friend would open the box from his boss, and he would open it just to find our dog's poop. Like, I'm glad he's not eating it, I guess. The prank is weird, and he didn't tell me because he knew that I'd think it was gross and didn't think I'd want to be involved. Which I don't really, but I am so relieved. I just told him to send 30 bags instead of his confirmed 65, and now I can get rid of the rest. I've also told him to keep me updated on future pranks so I don't end up thinking that he's secretly snacking on our pup's butt nuggets. In the comments, 'Cause I Can says, I think this is one of those pranks where the payoff isn't worth the effort. That will always be the poop fridge. I personally would never want anything that had been in that freezer. I don't care if it's in bags, I believe in cooties, and that freezer has dog poop cooties now. Even if he deep cleans it, the vibes are off and it's haunted by dog poop now. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. Yup, it is haunted by poop. It will never be decontaminated from the shit spirits. There is no exorcism powerful enough, not even done by the Trailer Park Boys themselves. Let this be a word of warning to anyone considering buying a second-hand fridge. You have no way to be sure that it wasn't used to store a month's worth of dog shit. Honestly, wise words. So wise. Do not buy second-hand fridges. You don't know if they're saving up to do a 1000 dog poop Mr. Beast video. What about you guys? Have you done pranks like this? I want to know down in the comments below. Anyway guys, that is the end of today's video. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.